can suppress a child to such a greater extent. We are joined by none other than Dr. Mamata Bothra. Well, right now, we are discussing something that long has been forgotten. Before we get into this stance, as children, I think we were probably, we were accustomed to the concept of a tight slap by our parents, and it was okay, and I don't think children had the right to say no or ask those questions. Otherwise the repercussions would be a whole host more. But right now we are seeing a very different stance, and even the government is coming and saying and that children exposed to violence may develop aggression, anxiety, emotion, and that's why emotional support is required at home before they seek it outside. Could you talk to us about what really happens when a parent say disrespects a child in front of someone, or probably is saying meaningful and not meaningful but hurtful things to the child?
Yeah, definitely. This is a very right step what the government has taken, or I totally support it, because what happens is kids learn from what we do, or what the parents do, or what the elders do. So if anybody is thrashing the kid or saying hurtful things to the kids start understanding that this is a norm or this is a normal thing. So later on, as they grow, because they will remember these things and they will start using the same thing in their behavior. And also, like if a kid is thrashed at home, the child will not be able to remove the frustration at home, but he may be showing aggression or, the same type of behavior in the school, in the bus, with his colleagues, with the friends. So, this is like a cycle. So what you need to teach, of course, as parents, I tell the parents that yes, you need to discipline your child, but there are methods. You don't need to be aggressive. You don't need to be using harsh words, or you don't need to thrash the child. Definitely not, because this will not, discipline your child. This will lead to more aggression for your child and frustration. But yes, you need to talk the thing out. You need to give time out. You need to calm down and handle the situation in a calm way.
But how can a parent do that? I mean, you see, we learn from our past, right? I mean, history is a great teacher of how we are today and who we've become today. But right now, parents are struggling. How do you discipline a child where information has been built out every second via the social media, where they are consuming content that probably is not befit for their particular age, and knowing things way above and beyond their age bracket as well?
See, I always tell the parent, when the child is angry, give time out. You don't need to react that time. But what happens usually, if the child is angry, the parent will get more angry and shout at the child or thrash him or say some hurtful things, and the child will start crying, and the parents will see this is normal that the child is crying, but the child will not understand what exactly happened. So it's better that you you stay calm, give a time out, don't talk or don't react to that situation, and when your child is calm, try to talk the thing out to him. Initially, he may not understand. He's like, what is this? No, again, he may start crying. But over a period of time, the child will realize that, yes, for whatever reason the child was crying or was, asking for something which was not right, the parent is not budging for those reactions. Otherwise, usually what happens, the child will cry and, parent will give it. Okay, my child is crying. Okay, give him 2 chocolates or give him whatever he is asking. Give him the TV, give him the tab. I always tell the parent, don't give those particular things also, but don't react also. Stay silent, give time out. Child will be calm in 5-10 minutes. And then when the child is calm, just talk the thing down.
Authorities have released an all-important news when it comes to this, saying that, according to the UAE's Federal Law number 13 of 2024 on domestic violence, this has enhanced protection measures, including restraining abusive individuals, not disciplined. Dubai police advises parents against beating children. Dr. Mamata, thank you very much for holding on to the line. So talk to us a little bit more about disciplining. So when you hear the terminology discipline someone or disciplining your child, what does that really entail, and how do you do it without coming across so abusive or without coming across with so much of aggression?
See, first of all, we need to understand that discipline and punishment are different things. Discipline is teaching, punishment is making anyone suffer. So you need to discipline your child. Instead of saying you're bad, you are whatever abusive words if you're using, it's always better to tell that, this behavior is not right and this is why it is not right and here is how you need to behave. Of course, it will take time, but the child will understand that, yes, my mother or my father is trying to teach me instead of giving me a punishment. Punishment is making a child suffer. So, while understanding, we need to separate these two things. Discipline is teaching, and punishment is making anyone suffer. Secondly, you can set clear, consistent rule that if you don't eat your food, you will not be getting the TV time, or you'll not be getting your iPad time. You will not be able to get your favorite toy, which I promised you to buy during this weekend. So you need to set clear and consistent rules. Also, of course, you have to be calm, which is very, very difficult. But yes, the calmer you are, your child doesn't learn aggression, but he or she will also learn to react calmly in any particular situation. No, of course, timeouts and cool downs definitely help them a lot. Reinforce on their good behavior, as I said earlier. Be be a role model. If you are like using abusive language or fighting with the partner, or sometimes irritated or agitated, don't do this in front of the kid, and try to be a good role model. All these things definitely help. Yes, it takes time, but yes, they are very, very important for a child's development in psychology.
Doctor, you mentioned a very important conversation over here, and you've said when you are in a heated argument, or when you yourself as a parent are going through so much, please stay mum. I think let's talk about signs, or let's talk about ways that parents can put themselves together just before they have that conversation, even if it is, dealing with the most notorious kid on the block. How do you have conversations with a child without, I've already said this, without a meltdown? Is there a particular strategy that a parent needs to use? What if your timeouts are not working? What if they have grown into having thick-skinned now? Because apparently the kids know the tricks better than the book than we do, and learning from them has become the norm these days. So what happens in a situation like that? How can parents move along a conversation? Let's talk about age brackets, right? I mean, when having this conversation, say with a 4-year-old, with a 5-year-old, with a 10-year-old, with a teen, with a preteen, with a teen, and onwards, how do we have these conversations?
See, definitely every age group will have their own advantages and disadvantages. For a child who is just 3 years old, you can't, take to a lengthy discussion talking him out what are the repercussions or what are the disadvantages. You need to be like just give a time out, or just distract the child with some other thing, instead of just pick the child and take him around, and you can just distract the child for a child who's just 2 years, 3 years. But the same thing you can't do for a child who's 6 years and 7 years. For a child who's like 6 years, 7 years, you need to set some clear expectation. You need to you can tell some stories. You can give some responsibilities. You can give reward. You can positive reinforcement. All these things. And for a child who's teen, and yeah, definitely when a child reaches in a teenage phase, they have bodily changes, hormonal changes. So those times you need to treat a child like a friend. You can't just discipline using abusive language, or slapping. Definitely not advisable at all. That is the time you need to gain the confidence of a child. Your child should be confident enough to share anything, because those are the time. If a child just drifts away from you, it is a long-term drifting.
Right.
So
But what about us, doctor, the millennials that have probably seen every stick in different corners of the house? And do you think we've done okay? Do you think, or at that time we weren't really reading much into all of these situations?
I think we all have done okay, and we all have got the thrashing from our parents, because that was the norm in those days. But I feel it was not the stick or the thrashing which actually shaped us, but it was the time our parents gave us. I think one of the parents was always available, always there to talk to us, or listen to us, or focus on whatever we wanted to do. So that a parent should spend enough time with a child. These days, what is happening? Both the parents are working, and they have the guilt that, okay, my child is with the nanny or with the caretaker, and how do I reward my child? So they will start giving so many gifts to the child, or favorite food, or pizzas or burgers. Your child doesn't understand that you are rewarding, or you are just doing out of the guilt. The child feels this is normal, and that the child will start asking for more and more gifts. And then when you will reach a point that, okay, now my child is not listening to me at all. But the thing is, I always tell the parents, don't give things which are not necessary for a child as a reward. The best reward is your time, your you're sitting with a child, teaching him or singing with him, drawing with him, anything which you want, any activity you like to do that with your child. That is the best gift as a parent you can give your child. Secondly, I tell this to every parent that staying calm in any situation, even when we fight it with a partner, it is always better we stay calm instead of just shouting, because that is not going to help. But if we are calm and composed, the situation gets handled easily and faster.
Absolutely. Thank you once again, Dr. Mamata Bothra, for taking time out, having this quick chat with us. Looking again for yet another conversation with you, and this time, hopefully, with the betterment of the children and the parents both listening in.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to be on your show. Thank you.
You're more than welcome.